I can see her walking, can't you? I can see her walking 35 years ago, unpicking threads. She's gathering them up in her hands, each thread like daisies. I kept a vase of daisies. It was blue with white freckles. It sat on the window ledge of my first studio to the left-hand side. And all I think about as I sit, watching her hands, my hands, walking 35 years ago, or maybe 37 ago. 35 years ago is, what did the vase see with its blinking daisy eyes, what it saw in my room, her room, the space of making, on making. It was locked with 3 different keys, 2 on the white door up the stairs, 2 the left with the number 8 scrawled in green ink taped over the first keyhole. The 3rd through the corridor, 2nd on the right, no windows, grey, with my name above the handle printed in black. Her hands, my hands, can still to this day feel the click and twist of each lock, could conjure them, all through the memory wrapped in these tendons. Behind the grey door with the printed black writing there was one window divided in 3 parts, and each part, I feel, saw. Maybe it was 5. Divided 5 ways? More harmonious that way, don't you think? Divided 3 parts, each part, I feel, saw an different division of work, so easily visual divided from the outside, from the onlooker, that simply began to divide from the inside. That's how these things go. The onlooker reads, the person passing on the 4th floor, 2nd window opposite, divided the work into a triptych, entitled Woman Sits in Window. Woman sits in studio. Looking at her hands, my hands. And through this triptych painted from the bank across the street, my work began divided. It often goes that way. It often goes that way, I mean. 1st month, April, each day 5 steps, white door 2 locks, grey door 1 lock, room, put daisies, stair, hang up rope, hang thing from rope. Which thing? There were so many in a box. I hung them up, painted with them, on them, through them, and I felt the daisies looking, and I didn't know. Couldn't know. Could be better. My space, her space, used to feel so white. At the end of a day, with her hands, my hands, dripping with red oils, dripping on the floor, 6 foot by 18, measurements are important. They ask you dimensions all the time. They always wanted to know the scale, depth, what heat you painted in with, I suppose. They never asked about the daisies. I suppose it doesn't matter what flowers sat at the window ledge, and I didn't know how to paint it any better than the daisies saw it. They saw better, clearer, the room saw it better, and I wanted with my eyes... The room saw it better, and I wanted to see with the eyes of the room, but my eyes weren't as white. They always ask about the details, all the bits at the edges, but they don't ask what's in the room. They never asked about the daisies. What flowers sat at Matisse's window ledge? I think lilies, ones as curved as the lines in his trees. You're looking at me like you wished I'd given another answer. Funny. My paintings have seen more, have more eyes than I can ever have, and I'm jealous that they blink less, seep it all in. But I'm still proud they saw the daisies before they saw anyone's face. But I've gone off your point. Yes, my studio was dark and cold and was 8 feet high, magnolia in shade, and my daisies saw me cry and have my heart broken in 12 and 18 of my works. I suppose I stopped putting daisies there after a while. I moved on to the 2nd pane of glass. The vase got moved in July, 1 foot, 4 inches to the right, but I still put daisies in it. The books started to fill the space 1 foot and 4 inches to the left of the vase's new home. And I didn't hang the things from the boxes as much. I painted my eyes, her eyes. They were bloodshot from June, when the man in between 12 and 18 of my paintings asked not to be in them anymore. Sorry, I can't remember what you asked me. How did I make the work? Pay rent. Make the claim of space and time. Claim the words that you read in the text that you saw, I saw. Claim the other words are in your hands. Claim 7 flights of stairs, occasionally more, to make as much as your hands can bear. But I'm missing the third part of the triptych. In the third pane, I was separating the grain from the husk, whatever that's supposed to mean. I would sit for hours poring over those pages, and I never did understand them. The grain. Now, what do I wonder do I mean by that? I suppose I mean those things worth having when all the dust has, when all my dust has settled. Beckett. He sat on the ledge as well, 8 inches from the vase. The rearranging, the replacing of objects. The pieces of paper break the shoreline as they move, breathe in and out like tides as the silt of pens and ink and foam of text litter the coast, carve tendrils in the sand of paint and fabric pieces of jars and notebooks. These objects migrate to unknown coves, they carve into cliffs and break patterns of hundreds of years of salty fingers following the same ruts. To suddenly move whole dunes from side to side. We are erratic as the tides with our hands, moods like storms casting up boulders. The constant daily erosion of idea after idea, bashing and burying things, pushing them further to corners, the heavy beat of daily rituals bending and moulding the objects to relentlessness of productivity. The lack thereof, the still days where the sea kicks at the edges of the wreckage like foam brushing shipwreck.